What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Game Time Discussions. I'm Emory Cousin. I'm here with Dustin Zimmerman. Today, we are going to talk about some great football. We're going to review, of course, Week 3, which didn't necessarily have amazing games coming into the week. And then we watched them, and it was like, okay, this was a great week, football.
Yeah.
Week 4, though, is going to be some amazing football. There's just so many good games coming up. We have way more games of the week than we normally have, but it's going to be a great time. I'm super excited. So much to get into. This will most likely be my last stream because we are going to be having a baby and we are due this next week. So there's no way I'm going to be able to make it to next week's stream. But at the same time, Dustin will be kicking ass and taking names. We're going to have, I'll be sending in my Superdogs and we'll be talking about a lot of things that Dustin will be relaying to y'all that I think about games. And he'll be, of course, making fun of me because I can't defend myself. So
Correct.
Let's get into it. AP polls are really dumb at the beginning of the year. They just change and change and change, and it does not mean anything. There are going to be lots of differences between this AP poll and next AP poll, and sooner or later we'll get in a more consistent AP poll where everything kind of looks the same every week. But let's go over to the games to recap. The first game to recap is, of course, Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Clemson has not figured it out yet. We were thinking they were going to. Dustin did a great job on the money line call in this game. He picked Georgia Tech to win. I took the Clemson side. I just thought they would get it together sooner or later. That just hasn't happened.
Nope.
And they looked awful. They looked awful in this game. They were up by 1 at one point in this game, but tied at 21 all. Georgia Tech hits the game winner, and it's a beautiful sight.
Yeah, Georgia Tech hitting a game winner on a fire drill, and this guy being his career long. So if you were just watching the game and they showed the field goal line to get to, and you're like, oh, well, he's 4 yards short, they're not going to kick the field goal. Nope, run the special teams out there and get it done.
Absolutely.
Gabe Klubnik has to improve. He's just not progressing, and the rest of the team is obviously not rallying around him to make up for it. But like you said, we both expected Clemson to be better at this point, and they just have not shown it. And Haynes King is an absolute gamer.
Gamer mentality. 103 rushing yards for the second time he's gone over 100. If you didn't get in our Discord, you missed out on that line. We put that line in there. So make sure you get in the Discord so you see all those lines early. Dustin, of course, is putting all the spread picks in there and his stuff, and this is one of them. He picked the money line on Georgia Tech, and he meant it. He put it in there in the Discord under our spread stuff. He was full blown on it. And Haynes King is the reason that they came out on top. I mean, he looked, he's legit. 20 out of 28 for 211, 103 rushing and a touchdown. Every good quarterback comes from A&M and goes to a different school. That's all I'm saying.
Does better.
That's all I'm saying. Kyler Murray, let's just talk about it. But this game was a lot of fun to watch, actually, but Clemson just looked really flat.
Yep.
The next game was even more fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then the next game was even more than that. So we'll get to all these. But Georgia, Tennessee, goodness gracious, what a game. What an absolute thriller. It was Tennessee should have won this game. Absolutely should have won this game. It was they had it in the bag, and then they fell apart at the end, making bad decisions and things like that. Go into overtime. This is an overtime game. We did not put the OT that I thought on the thing, but it was an absolute overtime game where Joey Aguilar, also a gamer, in my opinion. I did not expect
100%.
this. Look, I like Joey more than I liked Nico because Joey sends the ball. He does not care. We're just going to go for it. Yes, sir. Thank you. He's just going to go for it. He was so much fun to watch. He is a fun player to watch in general.
Yeah.
And then Georgia finding a way to win in this game. I mean, I was not expecting it. And they had some receivers doing some things too, which was good to see considering last year. Drops and all that stuff. So Gunnar Stockton finds a way.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia looked really good. I expected their defense to look a lot better. I was pretty shocked with how easily Tennessee just absolutely gashed them. Both of their drives in the first quarter, which led to touchdowns. Joey Aguilar just manhandled the defense, did whatever he wanted, finding the soft spots in the zones. So, but like you said, Georgia came out on top. Gunnar Stockton looked really good. Kirby Smart obviously has his game plans working. Feel really bad for the Tennessee kicker missing the game winner from 43 and then drilling the 42 in overtime.
Yep.
Obviously, they needed a touchdown because that's how Georgia ended up winning. It was one of those situations with how high the score was. There was no way you were winning that game in overtime if you didn't score a touchdown. A field
Oh
goal
yeah.
was not going to get you to the next overtime.
And this is a 3.5 point game, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Toward Georgia's side. So if you took the plus 3.5, you won on Tennessee. Because,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Like, you still made it out taking the points instead of taking the money line on that. The whole game, I was like, this Tennessee is just like staying in it, putting points on the board. I was like, okay, this Tennessee team's actually legit. And we did not like them. I said 8-4 is going to be their record. I still kind of believe that, but they have one of the softest SEC record schedules.
Yeah.
Things can change. I mean, this Tennessee team looked really good. Now, do you want to introduce, or do you want me to?
I mean, I can. It might be slightly biased, but
no, I want to hear it. It needs to be biased.
This has to be the game of the week, in my opinion. With
I think that's fair.
How many flips in momentum there were. There was emotional moments. There were a fight before the game and pregame warm-ups, the whole shoving and yelling matches. Chairs were being thrown by Mike Elko into the wall, which was pretty awesome to watch on broadcast. And then it ends with A&M throwing a lob to the tight end who has not caught a pass this game, and I don't think he had one, maybe he did in one of the warm-up games, but he ends this night with one catch for 11 yards and a touchdown, and it's the most meaningful one of the game, obviously. And all that only works because the Notre Dame holder dropped the snap on the extra point after they went up 40-34.
Not even just the Notre Dame holder. The guy that dropped it was the backup quarterback who was fighting for the job in preseason, who we thought was actually going to win the job. CJ Carr, of course, gets the job and wins that. And this game's actually super implementations are crazy because this might mean that Notre Dame doesn't make the playoffs. Their schedule coming up is really interesting because if you just talk about who they have to play, they play Boise State. That was a game we thought, that will help their resume, right? Well, how about Boise State's not good at football, right? They play Arkansas. Really Arkansas had a really good game against Ole Miss this week, so that was at least good for them. USC is now one of the teams we're going to talk about here in a minute. They are undefeated, and if they play each other undefeated, that might be big for them. But there's no one on their schedule that I'm just like, that's a marquee win.
Nope.
They needed to win one of these games to be really comfortable making the playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh losing the backyard brawl to West Virginia, which they were expected to be a 7-point favorite, and then they ended up losing by 7 in overtime also. So, that was one of those games. Maybe Pittsburgh does what they did last year and starts off really hot and helps that Notre Dame strength of schedule, but they don't look good. Syracuse beating UConn in overtime last week. Syracuse isn't going to help anyone's strength of schedule this year.
Of course.
I mean, Arkansas and USC are really where they're going to have to hang their hat, and I just don't know if you can say those two, assuming they win those games, even if by sizable margins, is that enough to get a team into the playoff when they don't have a confident schedule?
Right, exactly. And I want to also put this out. Mario Craver is legit at freaking football. And Casey Concepcion, this is by far the best receiving core I've seen A&M have. Casey Concepcion, Terry Bussey, and Mario Craver are legitimate football players. And I think Mario Craver is obviously one of the guys that we're going to be putting on our list to watch when it comes to next year because he is only a sophomore. I mean, 207 yards in this game. He's averaging right now the most in the nation per game. Yeah. And then we have to talk about on that last play real quick before we go on because I know that you're biased, but I have to be unbiased a little bit. That was a hold. Chase Bazantis got a hold. It did, and that's why Marcel Reed was able to get the ball off. And it was funny because I was like, you never want to cheer for that, of course. Yeah. But at the same time, I want A&M to win this game. Everybody, all of our friends, they're like, oh, that was a hold. And I'm like, yeah, but a win's a win. I think if it was another team, like their favorite team, they would be saying the same thing, Yep. So, yes, A&M did hold on that last play, and it did not matter because they didn't throw the flag. So.
No, that's how it goes. We've been on the losing end of no calls. I'll take this one. I'll happily accept that it should have been a hold and also accept that we won the game.
And then I just want to say one more thing. shout out to Leonard Moore. He is
Hmm.
he was probably the best football player on the field. It did not by both teams. Leonard Moore was the best
Yeah.
football player on the field. He locked down everybody that he was on the
Yeah,
whole
his
game.
PFF coverage grade was like a 90 something, I think, and every other person in the secondary was in like the 30s or below.
Yeah, he's going to also be, he's only a sophomore, so he's also going to be part of that Mario Craver, Jeremiah Smith,
Hmm.
expected Arch Manning draft. And that class is crazy. So we'll be
Yeah.
getting into that obviously later on. But Leonard Moore is a legit coverage corner and is going to be a problem.
Yeah, he was really good last night.
Y'all ready? Some upsets. And the first upset is going to be this Vanderbilt just smacking the hell out of South Carolina. Of course, comes off the back of Mr. Lenore Sellers being out of the game,
Hmm.
but due to concussion. But I don't care. 31-7. Like, if you have nothing other than Lenoris and you're going to get beat 31-7, like that tells me everything about this team. Vanderbilt on the other
Yeah.
side, that's a team I guess we need to talk about
Yeah.
because Eli Stowers was really good.
As we
Diego
expected him to
Pavia,
be.
gamer
Yep.
Diego Pavia. I mean, he's
Absolutely.
got to go on the gamer list for sure.
No, for sure.
There's no question about it. For 2 years straight, he's just gonna will his team to wins, even if he's not efficient and things like that. Like he is the definition of a gamer, in my opinion.
Yep.
And then, just on the South Carolina side, they just never got anything going. They don't have anybody on defense that can help them. And offensively, I mean, 7 points, and it was when Lenore Sellers was still in the game.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I mean, Lenore's going down when it's 7-14 is not what caused the defense to give up 31 points. And
right.
like you said, you have to be able to do more with the offense. After that Virginia Tech opening game, South Carolina looked decent, but definitely had their flaws too. And now we see Virginia Tech, who just got smacked by Old Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
That win does not look any better and is ultimately getting worse. And then now after this one, it's like, how good was South Carolina from the start? Were they being overrated? And apparently they were being very overrated.
Yes, absolutely. And then let's go to the next game. New Mexico just, sleeps UCLA. 35-10. Like, no offense from the UCLA side. Nico was just a mid football player in the game, and they had no help. 0-3 UCLA. And we're going to get into this here in a second, but just like kind of going over this game, the rushing defense for UCLA was so atrocious. 300 yards of rushing offense for the New Mexico rushing. And I know that they're good at rushing because last year, Devin Dampier, he was top 5 in rushing for, that team was top 5 in rushing with Devin Dampier last year. They're good at it. But you have to be able to, as a Big Ten team, stop a New Mexico team. And you should probably be shutting them out in your at home. Like, it's just kind of embarrassing.
100%. Could not agree more, which is why some changes were needed to be
Yeah,
implemented
let's
after
go
that
over.
game.
Let's go over to the hot seats. The first one is UCLA. I'll let you take it over.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I shouldn't have titled the slide "hot seat" because they're officially
Gone.
fired now.
Long gone.
Like you said, UCLA gets absolutely embarrassed by the Lobos. Deshaun Foster, a former player. I'm always a big fan of the former player returning to be a coach. It feels like there's a little bit more passion behind it. They care more than just it being their job. It's they love the school, that kind of thing. Obviously, this experiment just did not work out, though.
Sure. Yeah. And then Vatek, also getting embarrassed by Old
Yeah,
Dominion.
I think I have to make a public announcement that I was wrong.
Oh, really? Do you?
Unfortunately, Virginia
Yeah.
Tech is really, really bad.
Yeah. No, not
So
9-3, right?
we're
I mean,
we're
shoot, I
closer to 3-9 territory at this point. If
I had
that,
them
I
going
mean, Old
six and
Dominion should have
six.
been not an issue.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. I mean, I had them going
look,
6-6, and
yeah,
that was too much.
that
It
was
was too good.
clearly far too much.
Yeah,
So,
like
like,
not even close.
what did you think they were going to beat powerhouse Old Dominion? Good try, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot we should have put that in the games of week last week.
Yeah,
It's tough.
clearly.
Both guys gone though, and that is going. We'll see who the new coaches are. I mean, everybody wants to coach in California at UCLA. I think that's just kind of a fact of it. I don't know what
Yeah.
Virginia Tech has going, but they have, of course, old players and coaches that Virginia Tech's an ACC
Yeah.
school. Like both of these schools are going to get good coaches. Hopefully, someone can turn them around.
Yeah, Virginia Tech has history. Everyone knows them for their Enter Sandman and all that stuff. So
Right, of course.
they'll be fine. It's going to be a while. They're not going to be better next year, obviously. One interesting thing is with the new landscape of college football, now both teams have a 30-day transfer portal window, which opens, I believe, tomorrow.
Yes, it does.
Or whenever they hire a coach, whenever that becomes official, I think is technically when it starts. So that'll be interesting to see, though, because guys like Kyron Jones, for instance, who a lot of people are very high on, does he wait it out? Does he say, I'll stay at the helm? Or does he go, well, if there's a better option,
Take your red
maybe I
shirt.
go do that for my development. I got it. Yeah, he's got plenty of time for the red shirt since he hasn't played 4 games this year, which that's also being called into question because of Vanderbilt players, and they're trying to just get it to where you get a free red shirt regardless.
Especially if the coach is fired, yeah.
Right. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I wonder if he'll leave. Who else will leave? Do we see a mass exodus like with the Purdue team last year? That was at the end of the year, but do we see it in the middle of the year? It'll be very interesting to see what happens there, and especially how many guys leave and how you replenish a roster.
I think the Nico one is more interesting to me than anything.
I
think that has to be the more interesting side of this. Because if Nico
he leaves, who drafts him? Obviously, his draft stock's falling anyways, but like the PR of that move is already horrible.
No, he has to go back, and that's the thing. Like he's going to leave. He'll probably have to play football for 2 more years.
Well, assuming he can win the starting job with how he's looking.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to be the better quarterback wherever he goes. Say he goes to Colorado. I mean, they started Ryan Staub.
Well, I was about to say, hold on, they've got their own set of issues with the quarterback.
Right, but like I'm saying, like, what if he goes to Colorado and like is obviously he will be the starter.
Yeah.
So I think there's options, but it's just like, man, I don't know what's best because he should have never left.
Yeah.
And Joey's showing that right now. So this is a really weird situation for sure. We're gonna have some weird landscape shifting and like rules being bent and stuff like that will be going into effect pretty soon with this whole thing.
Yeah.
Miami versus USF. Dustin, Superdog. I get it. Look,
tough.
I thought they could win it outright because look, Miami has been good this year, but there's nobody as hot as South Florida prior to this game. Nobody. And they go out there and they get just dog walked by this Miami team. Huh?
Yeah, just dog walked. That's how it goes. There was the rain. There was weird delays. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. This game was never close. So, and unfortunate. Try again next week.
I think the Carson Beck hate has to kind of stop. We did this whole thing. You said they were going to go 7-5. I said they're going to 10-2. You know nothing about the ACC. I love Virginia Tech, and it's okay. Because you don't play in the ACC, I do. So, Florida State's in the ACC, Texas A&M is not. So we'll give you a pass. But I got
Georgia Tech down, so we'll put it that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we both do.
I'll take my qualifier there.
Yeah. But Carson Beck is a guy that I said, should get a little bit more love. Of course, he was hated because he was the number 1 overall prospect, and when you don't play like that, you kind of fall off the top, and then he rolled down the mountain a little bit. But he has looked really good. He had 340, he had 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 interceptions, but hey, he was pushing the ball, making things happen. And this is a really good football team. And I have to shout this out. I might have been wrong. Hey, look, we both wrong, right? Ruben Bain Jr. might be the best edge rusher right now in football.
Yeah, he's really good.
Like it's really hard to not say he's going to be a top 10 draft pick based on how he's played. I didn't expect him to play this well, and he has just gone out there and proven me wrong. And if he continues to prove me wrong against the ACC opponents that he probably will, he will be most likely a top 10 draft pick, along with a guy like Keldrick Falk, TJ Parker, and those other edge rushers that are playing really well. TJ Parker is not playing as well. Will Helt has played really well.
Will Helt played really well against Georgia Tech.
He's been real good. So, and then guess what? You're not the only one. I have also missed my Superdog. Very, very close to my heart, of course. Texas State losing to Arizona State. Last year we lost by 3. I thought, our offense has been great. We've had the most explosive plays in football. We've been just amazing. Well, guess what? Arizona State said, screw that. You're going to score 3 points in the first half. And after that point, I was like, damn, like, if we can't get our offense going, our defense has not been able to stop anybody all year. So we need some help on offense. And my reasoning, and I remember saying this, was I think we can score with anybody. And that was just not true in this game.
Yep.
So, sad day.
And like I said last week, I agreed with it. I liked it a lot. Thought they had a shot to potentially keep it like last year where it was a 3-point game and could have gone either way. But unfortunately, the offense just did not have any gas behind it.
Yeah.
And it ran out of steam. It's same thing that happened to USF, really. It just came out flat and never recovered.
Yeah, exactly. And this was obviously the best team they've played up to this point, but we put up 45 points last game. I just thought maybe we could put up more than 15. That's all. Next team,
watch.
Our next thing I want to bring up, prospect or player spotlight. It's not a prospect because he's a sophomore.
Yeah,
just got to keep putting that out there. He is too young to be a prospect at this point. Ahmad Hardy out of Missouri. We've shouted him out. I said that he was the best running back in the SEC. Maybe got a little bit of pushback for that, but I guess I'm feeling pretty good when he goes for 250 and 3 touchdowns. Of course, it's against Louisiana. Who cares? But it's 250 and 3 touchdowns. It matters.
250 yards when you also have another running back running for 100 yards is insane. So, no, Ahmad Hardy deserves the full spotlight, and I am fully on board with him being the best running back in the SEC up to this point.
Yeah,
obviously, 11.4. Conference play going to change some things, but I don't foresee him getting surpassed.
I just think he's a guy you can say is going to get 100 yards every game right now.
Yeah.
There's 2 guys in the NCAA that I will bet anytime their yardage prop is under 100 yards, it's going to be Ahmad Hardy and Jonah Coleman. I'm betting their overs every single time until they are proven wrong, basically.
Because
they have been so good.
Fair.
You ready? Week 4.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Week 4. Here's the AP poll. We're going to do our rapid fire, of course. Let me grab something, but I will actually let you go first.
Yeah, Ohio State staying at number 1. Don't really see a reason why any of the top 3 really would change, just because they all handled business. We'll talk about LSU, only one with a little scare there. Ohio State did come out a little flat to Ohio. That game was a little bit close. It was 13-9 at one point. They end up beating them by a lot, though.
Yeah.
So, and then this week they have a bye, so don't anticipate any big changes there.
Yep. Okay. And then Villanova was the team that Penn State beat. I want to bring them up real quick because of the backdoor spread loss. So Penn State's up 52-0. Their spread is 46.5, right, to win this game. And Villanova scores a touchdown to write it right out of the history books. And Villanova wins the spread battle in that game, which is just crazy to me. So I just had to say something.
On the very last play of the game with the tight end snagging it one-handed,
it was
less, like catch of the year type level of difficulty.
Yep.
For
amazing.
What 99% of the world would call a meaningless score, and the 1% who had way too much money on the game, either cheering loudly or not cheering and being very loud for other reasons.
Being very sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was true.
LSU takes care of business against Florida. DJ Lagway did not look good again. Kind of concerned for his development this year, too. LSU's defense did look good. Offense still looks suspect, though. LSU this week is going to be playing another tune-up game, if you will, because they'll be playing Southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah, talk about hot seat. Put Billy Napier on it, please.
He's been on it. I have him
for you,
on the hot seat for the last year and a half now.
Sure. Yeah, Miami will be playing Florida in the next game after they do beat South Florida like we talked about. And they should probably handle business.
Yeah, I don't foresee there being any big issue there. Georgia, they, like we talked about, were able to pull off an epic win against Tennessee, and then they are going to be on a bye this week, so no surprise that they're at 5, and unless anything crazy happens, I don't foresee that changing either.
Yep, Oregon, they played Northwestern, 34-14 win, but it was a 9 o'clock game for them, 9 a.m. game for them, which is crazy. They play Oregon State next week in a rivalry, but Oregon State's been pretty bad. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't even get excited about that rivalry because it's Oregon State. So
yep, it's been bad.
that just is what it is. Florida State wins bye week. They managed to move up without having to play a game, which means they did not risk moving down at all. So good for them. They're up to number 7. They'll return this week, hosting Kent State.
Yeah, I think we won our bye week based on having to play Kent State after this.
Yeah.
Texas plays bad again, 3 games in a row, not looking good, and that's why they moved down and Florida State moves up without doing anything, because Texas 27-10 to UTEP. They had their loss against Ohio State. Arch Manning doesn't look good. We've said it on this channel before. It's is he the golden boy? We'll talk about it later. Sam Houston next week, though. They should pretty much run through that, but it might be another UTEP game where they're underwhelming, which I still think they win. I still think they win, no problem, because their defense is so good.
They're
but I think it's the other side.
Favorites.
No
40
way.
Point, something like it's like 40 or 40.
Wow, I should have taken them as my Superdog.
I was looking at that one and I was like, is this where I get the opposite of USF losing their offense? Texas's offense turns on,
right?
So I couldn't. I'm not jinxing it. Try to see what happens. Next up, Illinois. They have looked great this year, like we've talked about, and then this week they are going to be playing at Indiana, so going on the road.
Yep, game of the week,
and we'll talk about Indiana here in a little bit too.
Yep, Texas A&M we talked about. They're going on bye after they beat Notre Dame. They move up 6 spots, big deal. Yeah.
Yep, enters the top 10. Never a good feeling as an Aggie fan because bad things happen whenever A&M starts to get the slightest bit of success.
Sure.
Oklahoma being at number 11, Emory's favorite player in the country, John Mateer, leading that team, of course. They will be playing Auburn this week, so another top 25 matchup coming in.
Catch the hype early with John Mateer. That's all I'm saying. Iowa State beats Arkansas State in a close game. Iowa State, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm kind of backing off on Iowa State. They win a couple games, right? But one of them is Kansas State, who's been, atrocious.
Yeah.
And so we don't hold that as highly as we did before. There was a 3-point win. Then an 8-point win versus Arkansas State. I'm going to just say that Iowa State's not as good as we think they are. They're ranked all the way at 12th, and they're not going to be that high when they have to play the Big 12 schedule.
Yeah, I'm very concerned for the crash and burn of Iowa State once they start playing harder competition this year.
Yep.
Ole Miss, you've got Lane Kiffin doing weird basketball things and the cornerback celebration after a missed field goal. You either love him or you hate him, or sometimes you feel a little bit of both like I do. They are going to be in a really fun game this week because they're going to be hosting Tulane. They are coming off beating Arkansas, who is an electric offense led by Taylon Green, but Ole Miss did hold them off and won by 10.
Yep. Game of the week for Tulane against Tulane. Alabama beats Wisconsin 38-14. Ty Simpson looked really good, but I wasn't in love with how they played that game.
Yeah.
But I just don't think I'm in love with Alabama in general, so that might be why. They are on bye next week, though, so no problem.
Speaking of Wisconsin, Luke Fickell's seat is just as hot as Billy Napier's, in my opinion. Do not be surprised if at some point we hear news on Luke Fickell this year, and Wisconsin also going through a new coaching search.
Yep.
Tennessee, talked about them against Georgia. Amazing game, but they could not pull out the win. They'll be looking to bounce back. They're going to be hosting UAB at 11:45 this weekend, so should be a game they win by 50.
My favorite game of the week is up next. Utah versus Texas State. Texas Tech will be this next week. Big game on our games of the week. They are back-to-back, as you can see. They're 16 and 17. I'll do both real quick. Sure. Both of them basically handled business. One at Wyoming and one in Oregon State.
Yeah, and that was a weird one because the Tech one, they threw the tortillas and then it went into a weather delay, which made for a very annoyed crowd, a bunch of college students. Georgia Tech obviously looked great against Clemson. They make their way into the top 25 for the first time this year, much deserved in my opinion, led by that Haynes backfield. They're going to be looking to keep it up this week.
Temple.
I think they're on bye though.
No, they're playing Temple at home.
There it is. Yeah, they're going to be hosting Temple at 3:30 on the CW, where all great games go.
Miami and USF, we're all good. Cinderellas go to die, I guess.
Exactly.
Next up is Indiana. They beat Indiana State 73-0. Just handled That's crazy. They're going to be playing Illinois, like we talked about. That'll be on our game of the week. We'll talk about that here in a second.
We should all feel so lucky to be alive at a time when we are witnessing ranked Vanderbilt and not one of those, oh, it was a Cinderella upset game. No, they put belt to ass on South Carolina, and we have number 20 ranked Vanderbilt. And
Amazing.
I think we all just need to take a moment and breathe and enjoy that.
Just wait.
They are going to be playing Georgia State this week, who
Yep.
actually upset them last year. So that is something to watch out for, is all I'm saying.
Beat South Carolina, lose to Georgia State. Crazy.
I'm just saying you need to watch out for it. Weird things happen with Georgia State.
So we have another big game on this next one here. Michigan is playing at Nebraska. This is a game of the week also. I know people aren't really talking about Nebraska right now, but that team is really good. Matt Rule's damn good coach. And Nebraska is receiving other votes. They have 9 total votes, and they're moving on up. If they win this game, of course, they'll be in the top 25. And fun game. Very fun game.
Yeah, that one's going to be super cool. Auburn, they are going to be playing Oklahoma this week, like we talked about, so we'll talk about them a little bit more. They've looked pretty good all year, though. I don't have any big concerns about them, but we'll talk about their upcoming matchup here in a minute.
One of my favorite dark horses in the SEC, Missouri, beats Louisiana 52-10. I like Bo Perbula and Mr. Ahmad Hardy, of course, and Kevin Coleman. Man, all three of them. They have a trio on offense.
Mm-hmm.
They, of course, smack Louisiana, but now they're going to go be playing South Carolina with a concussion protocol. Lenora Sellers. They might sneak out with a win on this game. No problem, as long as everything goes the right way. I think that they will continue moving up the ranks.
Notre Dame, obviously coming off the loss to A&M at home after their bye week, so they've only played 2 games this year, and they are 0-2. They're going to be, like I said, fighting to essentially make the playoff. If any chances are alive, they absolutely cannot drop another game. That'll start this week with Purdue, so should be off to a good restart.
Yeah, and talking about USC, they just beat Purdue 33-17. That's a little bit too close for my liking. And that's way too close to my liking. And then next up, they got Michigan State. Will talk about that game also for a different reason. But that's our AP Top 25 rapid fire. Let's go over to the games of the week, starting with the big game that I just put out there: Utah versus Texas Tech. Number 16, number 17. They made this close as possible. These 2 teams are not the top 2 teams in the Big 12 on the rankings, which is crazy to me. But whatever. Utah has been great. Texas Tech has been great. This feels like, funny enough, 2 juggernauts going at it.
Yeah.
If you just look at their scores, and like Texas Tech won 2 games by 60, and Utah has smashed UCLA and all the teams they've played so far. This game is going to be awesome. I'm pumped.
Yeah, this one. What's the line on it? Do we have a
3.5.
over under on this one?
Oh, I don't know. No, hold on. Let me
pull
grab
it up. I'll see. They're not going to have it on ESPN yet. Whatever it is, take the over. That 60.5. Yeah, no, I'm still taking the over.
Yeah,
I have zero concerns. This game is going to go into the high 30s to 40s for sure. Dampier, like you said, you're high on him. I get it now. I'm done. I'm done putting any sort of pushback on you. But I was gonna say we had texted about this a little bit, but the trenches in this game are going to be magnificent to watch.
Okay, Spencer Fano is the number 1 offensive tackle in this class, and Caleb Lomu on the left side for Utah. Sorry, both Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu play for Utah. They might be the number 1 and number 2 offensive tackles in the class. Well, on the other side of the ball at Texas Tech, you have a pass rusher in James Bailey who has a 34.8% pass rush win rate. Oh, I didn't tell you this, Dustin. Romello Heights on the other side has a 33% pass rush win rate. Guess what? We're gonna have just absolute. Those matchups are going to be freaking amazing, and no one's going to know about it except for us. Everybody that's in the chat, everybody that knows what good football is, this is it right here. This is the interior and exterior of this offensive line and defensive line are just insane. So much fun to watch. I really like Baron Morton on the other side. I mean, this is pristine football right here. This is it right here.
Yeah, this is probably my game I'm most eagerly waiting for, just in terms of the absolute shootout that it's going to be.
I also just want to know how good these teams are.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
this is that type of game where you find out how good these two teams are.
Yep. Make them prove it for sure. Next up, Auburn, Oklahoma. So this game is going to be at Oklahoma. We're going to have Jackson Arnold returning to Oklahoma, try to win there, leading Auburn. Some people are really high on him. You and I are not so much high on him. And then we've got John Mateer on the other side, who we are very high on. This one being at OU side 4.5. What's your opinion? Where's this one going to go?
Well, we will have to go back to the Texas Tech Utah game because we did not pick winners or spread sides.
I realized that. Yeah.
Let's do that real quick. Actually, I'm going to be taking Utah to cover. I'm going to take Utah to cover.
So, okay. Utah
They're 3.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the cover. They're going to win the game. I think they win by a touchdown. Say 35-31.
This one is in Utah.
It is.
That's tough. I think I have to agree, and I want to take the. Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Utah minus 3.5. I'll take it. I think I think if this was in Tech, I would almost have the same score, 35-31, but the other way. Tech winning it. Yeah,
I think that's how close these teams are too. I agree.
Yeah. This is one of those. They're actually both accurately ranked and should have a showing as such.
Right, for sure. All right, let's go back to the Auburn game. Auburn, Oklahoma here. You asked me what I thought. I think that this is an overrated Auburn team offensively. They don't have it because I just think Jackson Arnold is overrated.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. And I think John Mateer is the truth. That's kind of where I'm at. Is just I think this team in Oklahoma wins this game. I think that Auburn will kind of show their colors as the season goes on and show that they're not as good in the SEC itself. They did beat Baylor, which was a great game, but I don't know how good Baylor is, and stuff like that. So I think that you're just going to see Oklahoma win by 10 points. I'm going to take those points, and John Mateer's legit rushing upside. He's been great rushing the ball. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I see this one being a 2-score game, a 2-touchdown game, 14 to Oklahoma. And similar to how Auburn kind of controlled Baylor, I think we're going to see Oklahoma do basically the same thing to Auburn. Oklahoma has a better defense than Baylor had, so they should be able to handle those wide receivers and Jackson Arnold. And then I think John Mateer is just too electric for Auburn to stop. It will be interesting to see what Keldrick Falk can do, though, against that team. But end of the day, just him is not going to be enough to keep that explosive Oklahoma offense down.
Yeah, and he's been as advertised. Keldrick Falk has been as advertised. So I think he's been really good. R. Mason Thomas on the other side for Oklahoma, he's been pretty good for them, but not the I've seen some people say he's like a top 5 edge rusher. I have not gotten to that point, and I have not seen anything that shows me that. So he will have to show that in these games. But let's go on. Michigan, Nebraska. We said that this was a big game. I think this game is in Nebraska, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. That is a very big difference, in my opinion. I really like Nebraska. Michigan has one of the easiest roads. I think Bryce Underwood has played great. I really do. But I think Dylan Raiola is going to be better in this game. I think I will be taking the Nebraska Cornhuskers to win the game. If I take that, I guess I'll be taking the plus 3.5.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way. I think this game is going to be a 3-point game, one way or the other, but I do think Nebraska pulls it out.
It's very close.
I think Bryce Underwood's getting better, but he's just not there yet. And again, he's a true freshman coming in and has looked as advertised, but he is still a true freshman. Raiola's got the experience. I'm going to take him this year. I think you give this one more year, and I would probably have that flip, though.
Yeah. And this game has actually moved to 3. minus 3, which is good to know. It's getting closer to what we're saying. So that makes me feel better. All right, let's go over to the next set of games of the week. We're going to be talking about Florida versus Miami. Miami is a minus 8.5-point favorite. Florida hasn't looked very good. DJ Lightway hasn't figured it out. And Miami's looked great. I'm going to be taking Miami to win by 14 points.
Yeah, I unfortunately can't disagree. At the beginning of the year, I had Florida winning this game, actually. But Lagway has just been disappointing. I did not expect such a regression, and I wish Billy Napier knew how to coach. That would also help. So, but the clock mismanagement, the poor use of personnel, not
Mhm.
helping with Lagway's progression. Just give me Miami at this point, and they'll cover.
How about Trey
So
Wilson only
sad.
getting 2 receptions? Trey
Yeah,
Wilson getting 2 freaking receptions in that game.
yeah.
It's crazy to me.
If you play
Um,
CFB 26, you know he's insane. Use him,
yeah,
and he's one of those guys that's not just a video game guy. Like he's really good in real life. We have seen him be really good.
yeah, it's just bad.
Yeah,
Okay, South Carolina, Missouri. Without Lenore Sellers, I think that this line should be way bigger. And if when Lenore Sellers plays, I still think Missouri. This should be a minus. I apologize. I inputted that incorrectly. Should be -3.5 to Missouri instead of +3.5. But I think that Missouri just wins this game outright, no matter what. So give me Missouri by 7, and I'll take the points, even with Lenore Sellers playing.
if Lenore Sellers doesn't play, Missouri wins by at least 2 scores, given what we saw Vanderbilt do, and that was at South Carolina. If Lenore Sellers does play, I do think it'll be a 1 touchdown game. I think it will be a little bit closer, but I do think Missouri -3.5 is the right move.
I really wanted to in the preseason not. So South Carolina got a lot of love in the preseason from a lot of people, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe I'm just wrong. And I gave them more
sure,
wins than maybe I thought I should have, and I thought they should have been like 8-4.
sure.
I might be right about that. I might have been. I should have just trusted my own gut and not listened to the masses because they don't have a defense,
Nope.
and so that's really hard for me to get behind. Next game though, Illinois versus Indiana. This game is in Illinois, I want to say. It's actually a very big deal.
Uh,
Let me go check.
yeah, it is. I'll make sure. Yeah,
Okay.
Illinois, Indiana is going to be. I
At
believe
Indiana.
Indiana's
At
hosting.
Indiana.
Yeah, it's in
Perfect. Okay.
Bloomington.
Perfect. That makes me feel even better about my thoughts. I think that Illinois is overrated. I've said this, and they've been
Dang.
really good, and I've been kind of wrong to this point. But overrated is getting beat by Indiana, right? Partly. Kurt
Yep.
Signetti, give me Indiana to go and get a dub at home with an upgraded set of players, including Fernando Mendoza, who I like a lot.
Yep, this is gonna be the first one we disagree on. I'm gonna take Illinois here. I
Okay.
need Indiana to prove to me they can win the big games first before I can start putting my hat on them. It's kind of like with Vanderbilt. They finally got ranked. I'm honestly afraid they might blow it to Georgia State. I don't think they will. Georgia State looks really bad this year.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take Illinois on the road and keep the points. I'm going Illinois money line.
All right. Well, that's fun. That's definitely fun. Well, let's go over to the next one. It's going to be Ole Miss versus Tulane. And Tulane, I can't believe that they're such big dogs. I think that
Yeah.
you know Tulane is one of the only teams that is non-power 5 that is consistently good at football. And even when they lose their best players, Darian Mensah and Makai Hughes, it doesn't matter. They can just keep reloading. They've been really good this year. I'm going to just say that, and I'm not going to pick them to win, but I'm definitely taking Tulane plus 13.5 here. And this should be a lot closer, in my opinion. I don't really get what the line is doing. Now, I think that Ole Miss has the more talent, but I think Lane Kiffin can be inside his own head and lose games like this. This is the type of game he loses, right?
Yeah, I like what you're saying. I do think Ole Miss wins. I would take the Tulane cover though. Tulane plus 13.5 in this one. Kind of
Perfect.
wish I had seen it when I was preparing my super dogs, but here we are. So,
Well,
um,
here's your super
I'll,
dog.
I'm okay with Tulane plus 13.5, but Ole Miss ultimately wins.
Got it. Here's your super dog. Bang. Dustin super dog
Yep.
week 4. Let's hear it. Why?
Kyron Drones has let me down. Aiden Childs is gonna hit the over. I'm buying the Aiden Childs hype. They had a really good nail biter game this week against Youngstown State. I'm being slightly sarcastic. That game was kind of fun to watch, though, especially when you hear the announcers talking about the Penguins and hitting hard and whatnot. One of those
Mm-hmm.
mascots it's really hard to take serious. And Jonathan Smith has been a good coach for Michigan State. So kind of rebuilding them from what was left over after Mel Tucker. So I'm a big fan of what they're doing with the program. I think they have a long way to go. And then USC, I just still don't trust Lincoln Riley yet.
Sure.
And so at this point, I think a Michigan State plus 14.5 is, I like the odds on it.
Perfect. Well, I don't like USC. You know me. I've been
No.
pretty low on them, just like you. and so I'm on the same track at least, and I understand why you're doing this, especially after the Purdue 33 to 17 game that they just had. I think they got to do better than that for sure. So let's go over to the next one. It's going to be my Superdog. It's going to be Wyoming against Colorado. I'm really low on Colorado. We know this. But also, why is Colorado a 17.5 point favorite against anybody when they have a third string quarterback starting? And this Wyoming team has only, of course, they lost to Utah. Utah's very good. I'm really high on Utah. They won. Utah beat them 31-6, right? But in the other games they've played, I think that Utah beats Colorado 31-6. So let's just get that out there real quick. If Georgia Tech doesn't turn over the ball 3 times in the first quarter, they probably beat them by 3 touchdowns, right? So Wyoming, in the same way, I just think this game's a lot closer. Also, Wyoming's got a really good defense. Of course, not against the Utah team that's really good, but against Northern Iowa and Akron, total of 7 points in their first 2 games. I just think that we're down. We're overrating Colorado maybe, and I know you want to because it's Dion and all those things. But give me Wyoming to make this game a lot closer.
No, I like what you did here. I don't know what is going on with the Colorado QB room. I alluded to that earlier. I'm not sure why Julian Hayes isn't starting. If you're going to try to do a rebuild year, go ahead and get your freshman guy going, especially if he's not learning behind Caden Salter at this point. You've got your third stringer starting over him now. So I don't know if there's injuries. I don't know if there's some locker room issue, what's going on. It certainly lowers my trust in the team and their ability to win games and cover spreads. So I like your pick here with Wyoming.
Well, thank you. Let's go over to something that I just want to add to this whole thing. We're going to be doing some announcements this year. And when we want to do things, this is going to be our announcements. We're going to be doing game time discussion, college football superlatives. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things we've done. I'm glad we're adding this. I'm so happy. I would love to hear it in the comments who you think, because we don't have the superlatives up yet. When we get to half season, we're going to have a full group of superlatives. We're going to have some names that we throw around and stuff like that. And we're going to have a video that has like a very big just emphasis on that. But some of the examples are going to be Gamer of the Year, the Riley Leonard Gamer of the Year. These are guys such as Diego Pavia, who we, of course, love as a gamer. Haynes King, great gamer. All these things, right? So we're going to be having these superlatives on guys that we think fit these things, and they're going to be very much so our GTD superlatives. We have Stud of the Year. That's right now John Mateer has to be leading in that category, no problem. Superdog of the Year is going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what our records come out to and how we do in our Super Dogs. And we're going to have a Super Dog of the Year. We pick the same team multiple times sometimes. And hopefully we find some good Super Dogs this year. And then the Cowboys Team of the Year, one of my favorites. And everybody's going to think, oh, the Dallas Cowboys. Well, sure. The Dallas Cowboys do always upset you. This is true. But we're not going to only have good superlatives. We're going to have bad superlatives. You know, we're going to have those superlatives of like hot seat superlatives for coaches. Well, the Cowboys Team of the Year is going to be the team that disappoints the most. And that is because of we started this, right? The reason Riley Leonard makes it as Gamer of the Year is because we started this whole thing last year. So Riley Leonard was the Gamer of the Year last year. We didn't actually have an award. We didn't get to send it to him or anything like that. We will this year. We absolutely will be sending this to the Gamer. But the Cowboys Team of the Year is going to be based on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, not just the Dallas Cowboys, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who were projected to win the Big 12 and went 3-9 and didn't win a single game in the Big 12. The most disappointing team is going to be our Cowboys Team of the Year. We're also going to have good and bad superlatives, but I'm very excited about this. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun. So we'll be doing, keeping a running tally of guys that we want on the list, and we'll start shortening that list. Like Emory said, about mid-season, we'll go through some of the semifinalists, if you will, and then we'll keep dwindling it down until we've somehow reached. There are so many players and so many teams in college football, but we will somehow dwindle those down to one for each of these.
Going to be awesome. We're also going to have one that I didn't put on here that I kind of workshopped today, the Sebastian Janikowski Specialist of the Year. The reason we're going with Sebastian Janikowski, if anybody was wondering, is I am a Florida State fan and a Raiders fan. So It just makes sense. Okay, guys, it just makes sense.
There you go.
Very
I like
excited
it.
about all of these superlatives, though. I'm gonna stop sharing because we have gone through everything and a lot of fun today. We're gonna have a great week of college football, and then Dustin gets to talk to y'all by himself, which y'all are gonna have to help him. You're gonna have to help him through it. Give us
Yes.
some ideas about what y'all want to hear about and stuff like that, so Dustin can kill it.
Yeah, give me some tips or just whatever you want to hear me rattle on about, since I'll just be talking to the camera, reading some notes and going through a bunch of different football games. Basically, it's going to be the same as this format. Most of the section or subjects are going to be the same, but it'll be kind of just how it's presented is obviously going to be different because I won't have someone to actually speak to about it. So feel free to leave any comments or thoughts down below. That way I can almost have a theoretical or hypothetical rebuttal if needed.
Sure. All right. Well, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. This is always fun for us, and enjoy some football this week. Enjoy some NFL, but have a good one.
Thank you all very much for joining us.